I love that music. Hey, everybody, welcome to Hypno News Live right here with Jim Kellner and Grant. Wait, that's not Grant Saunders. Grant Saunders is on assignment this week, so we're joined by the lovely, the talented Mr. Paul Ramsey. Give it up for Paul, everybody. Yeah.
When I hear that music, I feel like you should come in and immediately be like, in your best Walter Cronkite, like, this evening we have many, like,
that is the way it is. Or was that?
That's
the way it is.
Very official sounding music. It's fantastic. How you been?
Good. How have you been?
Outstanding.
Dude, you're down in Tucson enjoying the beautiful weather down there.
So when I left New Hampshire, it was, during the day in the 50s, and at night it'd be down to like right around freezing. And I got here in Arizona on Saturday, and it was 76 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. It's pretty great. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, I really miss winters in Arizona because it's just fantastic. So fantastic.
Yeah.
So, hey, everybody, wherever you are watching from, please drop a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know you're watching. And remember, if you are, you may have to give us permission to see that you are commenting. So whether you're on Facebook, whatever. Oh, by the way, Mr. Kostiak.
There's
good to
Sean.
see you, my friend. You will notice I did not put you guys on together. Okay, we're not going to do that.
Why?
Yeah, no, can't happen. I'm kidding.
Come on.
I'm kidding.
We had one night where we got a little mischievous. That was all.
It really wasn't about the mischievousness. It was about all of the viewers, so we can't have you guys, taking over and stuff. So. And Paul has agreed, I don't know. Did you ever agree not to be too funny or too entertaining tonight?
I did not agree to that. I sort of just let you think that I understood. But we'll see what happens. Which reminds me. So is Grant, is he not here because he's getting pectoral and butt implants, or just the pectoral implants?
Yeah, you know what? He didn't. I thought it was down below that he was getting implants, but I'm not sure. He tells me a lot, but he doesn't tell me everything. So
that's fair.
Pectoral, I'm sure.
Pectoral. All right, God, he's going to look magnificent with nice chiseled pecs when he comes back.
Totally.
It's going to be great.
Sean wants to know if you're not allowed back on together because you reported the news. How dare you?
Yeah, we did our, we just went a little above and beyond. That's all.
Keeping it high class now. We got
oh, you put it up.
I almost didn't, Paul, but we like to keep the viewers happy that are watching. So if you comment, it'll likely go up there. So hey, let's get on with the important business of hypnosis.
It is a business. Paul? It is.
And speaking of business, I would like to say, Paul, if you would lead us off, there's a brand new organization out there. I am a card-carrying member of this organization.
You are. I was so pleased to see that. Yeah, we're glad to have you. The International Stage Hypnotists Association. We launched on October 1st, so we're 1 month in. We have 49 members in 8 different countries. We are very, very pleased with how things have started. Truly, it is such a small beginning, really. Like, we're hoping that this is something that goes for years and years and years, and we have a lot of growing and learning to do, but we're super pleased. There we are. That, that people see apparently what we're talking about and what we're trying to accomplish, and they're joining up. And we've got some really cool stuff we're going to be announcing in the next week. Next week, we'll make some new announcements. We've got we're months out. We're working on, that's the hardest part right now. And this with PHS, like when you're trying to build a thing, whether it's a conference or anytime you're trying to really build something, there's just so many plates to spin, right, Jim? Like,
Oh, it's in fact, I'm meaning to send Grant a message. It says we need to sit down and do a mental walkthrough, of everything that needs to happen in the next few months, and then even at the event, because there are things that you're just gonna miss otherwise.
yep, yep. So that's what we've got that going on. And oh, there's Carol. Yeah, Carol, you do. Let's get your act together.
And to help you out, Carol, there's the link.
There you go.
Entertainment Hypnotist Association. No, Entertainment Hypnotists, right there.
Entertainmenthypnotist.com. Yeah.
.com.
So yeah, and so so when people the first month, so what we did, knowing that we had so much to do and that we might not get everything right at first, we said, all right, when from now to the end of the year, anybody that joins from now to the end of the year, their membership is not going to be a traditional 12-month, right? We're like, if you join today, your membership goes all the way through the end of 2024. For people that joined in October, same thing. So you're going to get, 13, 14. If you joined right away when we launched at the beginning of October, 15 months of membership for the 12-month price. Because again, we're like, we know that we're working on a lot, and we're building this learning archive, and right now it has 2 programs in it. Someday we hope it has dozens and dozens, but right now it has 2, and we're going to release a new program this month. So we'll add our 3rd program this month. Our goal is to do 1 new online program every month. And the thing that we're really proud about with that is that we don't sell those to our members. There's no upselling, right? So we really want to get away from that model of everything being about selling you one more thing. So we're going to build this learning archive. And so you, Jim, as a member, every time we put a new program in the archive, you just get access to it. It's just there for you to use. And like I said, we're hoping to bring out 1 new program per month for at least the next 6 months. And then, we'll see how we adjust from there. But we want to build a big learning archive. We do monthly webinars. We're going to have a monthly webinar this month. And we're trying to get ahead on that, of lining up experts, people in the field who can talk about their experience, even people from outside the field. Like, Dale Whittick has been very helpful with us. He helped us get started, and Dale works in the insurance industry. And so at some point he's already told us he'll do it. We just need to get it on the calendar. Dale's going to come in at some point and basically do like an intro to liability meeting with us and talk about some of the stuff that maybe we don't like. We all think of safety, but do we really think about all the aspects of liability that could affect us as performers? Probably not. So Dale agreed that he'd come in and do that with us. And we want to do more stuff like that, stuff that maybe you don't get in your first basic training, like let's go above and beyond. We're not doing training. We don't want to get into the training game. Go get training, right? We want everyone to go get formal training with a good trainer, but then we want to keep helping add to that. And so we're working on a lot of stuff, and it's really cool stuff. And
continuing education units.
Yeah.
Like most professions have.
Yeah. And that's there will be something coming out about that very soon from us.
Great minds.
I love how you're thinking. Yeah, because
absolutely.
Again, that's everything we're doing. I love that you're thinking that way. That's what we want people to feel aligned. We're like, if you love this as much as we do, we would hope that you want to keep learning and growing for your whole career.
You should.
So, in some places, continuing education units are just sort of like a hoop to jump through.
Yeah.
We don't want it to be that way. We want it to be stuff that you really want to do because you feel like it helps you learn and grow as a professional. So we're working on that now, and there's going to be stuff coming out about that soon. And I hope everyone likes it. I hope you all go, well, gosh, that's sensible. and it's like, that just seems like a good thing to do, and that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Well,
thanks, Paul. I know that you're a founding member of the organization. I know I really appreciate all the work you guys are putting into this, because I know it's got to be a lot of work. Gotta be.
Yeah, it is, but it's worth it. It's worth. And the
Yeah.
same again. You're
Oh
building.
yeah.
With you guys building PHI, you know what it's like. It's when you're trying to build something that you enjoy and other people can enjoy, and it's worth it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got a business to run.
Well, that's a tough part, isn't it? Because
Yeah,
it's not like the
yeah,
job stops. You still gotta work. I still gotta work with hypnotherapy clients and do stage shows and speaking, and yeah, it gets a little crazy sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like with Grant, it's good to have a partner on it because I feel like we kind of have a relay race where like we go through periods where like I'm doing a lot of work and then I pass the baton, then he does a lot of work, and we're kind of coordinated like that. But it's challenging. But yeah, like you said, it's so worth it. And then because you're doing something that the industry needs, and there's so many happy people about it.
That's the part that we all sort of we get giddy about. It's more lately too. Is we keep having these discussions in which we realize how much, even though it's a lot of work, how much fun it really is to work together.
Yeah,
And for so long, Salish has been, we've got Terry Stokes, who's been doing it for 55 years. We've
yeah,
got Salish, who's been doing it for somewhere between 25 and 30 years. I've been in for 20 years. Grant's been in for 20 years, right? Like we have all these people who've been in for a while. William Mitchell, like 30 years. And so for most of our existences in this profession, we all just sort of stayed in our lane
right.
and did our own thing. And now here we are working on this thing that lets us check in with each other on a regular basis, be creative together on a regular basis, really, really be collaborative.
Yeah,
And it is like some of the most fun that I've had in my 20 years. And it's made all of us realize how important what we're doing is. And I think what you and Grant are doing is people who are creating more opportunities for hypnotists to collaborate together and
yeah,
to break that old model of like, I don't want to be near anyone. I don't want to share with anyone. Leave me alone. Don't steal my stuff. Like the
yeah,
more we can get away from that, I think the more people can actually enjoy their creative process, the more they can love doing their work and do better work. When you start
yeah.
having other people checking in with you all the time and just helping you tweak stuff and, well, what if you did this and what about this, and it just gets better. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, Paul. You talk so number one, creating new opportunities also just in the world, because there are a lot of venues we should be at that we're not at. There's a lot of different things that we should be doing that we're not. And the other thing is too is you may think, well, I want to keep all my secrets to myself, but one crappy show in a bar is going to kill comedy hypnosis there for probably forever. Or at a college or something. I mean, it's very easy for people to go, oh, well, comedy hypnosis must suck because that show sucked, instead of going, well, maybe it was just that hypnotist, or maybe it was just the environment. Maybe there was a bad crowd that night. I mean, all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's
Yeah.
great.
We can do a lot more. We can do a
Yeah,
lot more. Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, I want to talk about something else now. World Hypnotism Day is coming up,
Be here
and
before you know it, right? January
it will.
4th.
Oh, you know what? And here's the thing too, and this is if you don't plan, it's just like all these things that we're talking about, the conference, the organization. If you're not planning 6 months in advance, at least a little bit, you're going to be left behind.
Yep.
At least we've got about 2 months now. If you really put your mind to it, get out there, find a venue, do something. You could still make this happen in your area. And I want to give a little plug to the NGH-WA, which is the Washington chapter of the NGH. We started on this about 6 months ago. We actually have a venue now. We're going to be opened up. We're going to have a public celebration on January 6th. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have food. It's going to be, invite the public in and just let them find out about what hypnosis really is. I encourage everybody to do this.
Good for you. Jim, do you remember when it all started? Were you like paying attention to that side of things back then?
I was not, but there's a great article here. If you guys go to nationaltoday.com/world-hypnotism day, and I'll put the link down, actually, you will find a story about it. But tell us more, Paul.
Well, I just remember, Tom Nicoli's a good friend of mine, and Tom literally came up with the idea, pitched it, got support, everyone banded together, and the NGH was a huge part of spearheading that whole movement when it first started. And the first few years, people were just gaga for it, and people were doing amazing things all over the
Wow.
place. Big, big like presentations, like the small stuff
Yeah.
was hypnotists who had never presented before getting out and doing talks in public libraries and dropping in at community centers and just real grassroots type of stuff, right? And then the people who were collaborating more, there were people who were like renting like conference rooms and doing basically like full day, all day sessions where you could come in and get highly discounted sessions, and weight loss at 10 a.m. and smoking at 11 a.m. and stuff like that, like rotating through the day and collaborating together, and like and then it just slowly but surely faded,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden, like, I think everything does that to a certain extent, right? Like it's hard to keep the momentum um behind that stuff. And there will be people who are like, what are you talking about? I still do stuff. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not happening the way it used to happen. It used to be a big,
Hmm.
big thing. And it'd be nice if everything does kind of ebb and flow, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome to see it come back toward a peak again, and get people more involved, and get people doing stuff again. I'd love to see that. It's great.
Yeah. And Paul, what I want to show everybody this too. So I'm showing that's the website. We posted that down there, World Hypnotism Day. Um, but I want to show everybody this too. So, and I probably don't even. I mean, literally, we don't need to show you guys this because you already hear this all the time. So when I typed in yesterday to find a report about Hypno News, Hypnosis News, and I don't know if is it showing on the. Let me see, make it showing on the screen. Um, this is what we get. I don't think you can see it on the screen, but this is what we get. Why is hypnosis risky? Well, what? And these are the questions that people are asking. It shows the Google questions. Is hypnosis scientifically legitimate? Does hypnosis work? These are the kind of things that we have thousands of research articles that prove legitimacy of this, and nobody knows. We're doing a terrible job, guys.
Yeah, we do struggle. Again, it's there's a lot to running a business, right?
Yeah,
And so, like, it's hard to be like, while I run this entire business, how
right.
about I also do PR for the
Yeah,
entire profession? It's a
exactly.
challenge. It is.
It is. Yeah. Absolutely, but I would just I love that idea too, Paul. Like you could get on a lot of libraries have free meeting room space or very discounted. You could go on their website right now, reserve a room for we're doing it on the 6th because we think we'll get more people that way, but you could do it on the 4th. You could do some live streaming. We could just that whole week we could pepper social media with stuff about hypnosis. I just think that our biggest problem is that people think it's BS, and we know it's not.
Yeah, and I think again, to come back to the theme from earlier is collaborate, right? Like if you've got anyone else in your area, and Jim, this is one of the things I love about you so much is that you're so good at building collegial relationships, and you're such a great role model for that. If more people would do what you do in that regard, right? Like if you're the person who specializes in whatever, like let's just say smoking, right? Why wouldn't you go find a colleague who specializes in something else and say, you know what? I don't need the weight loss clients. Right. Like you can always take them if they ask you, but this whole thing of like everything has to be for me. No, it
Right.
doesn't. Like work your
Right.
niche and collaborate with people in other
Totally.
niches. Right. Or even never non-hypnotists, start collaborating with nutritionists and social workers and therapists and anyone that's helping people be healthier and happier and more well adjusted, and get other people involved and just collaborate more, and then you get this beautiful benefit of connecting with other human beings, right? And you're doing something good in the community There's a lot of again, back then when people were really hyped up, Jim, there were people getting their towns and their cities. They were submitting, it's on that website somewhere
Oh,
how to do it.
I've
They were
seen it.
getting
Yeah, yeah,
proclamations.
yeah. World
Yeah, like
Hypnotism Day. Yeah,
yeah, they'd get their mayor to proclaim it World Hypnotism Day officially
yeah.
in the town or the city. People were getting stuff like that. It was incredible to see how much people were really taking on to bring more awareness
Yeah.
to what it, there is to offer.
Actually, I was going to do that for Seattle, and I found out somebody's already done it. So it was already done years ago. So yeah, if you're in an area, look it up. Maybe be kind of cool as a side benefit. Probably good for your business too. You get a little PR out of it. So there's a little reward for you for doing it. And I want to just tell everybody too. What Paul talks about is it was scary at first because I did meet, and you still will. You'll run across hypnotists that they're not very friendly. They don't want to. They don't want to talk to their quote unquote competitors. But there's a lot. Most of us are very open, very willing to talk to you, have coffee. Um, so just reach out to them. Even if you have to Google, hypnotists near me. In fact, I've had people do that. They hit me up and say, let's go have coffee. And then also we have the regional groups for hypnotists. So like here in Washington, we have the Pacific Northwest Hypnotist Group. We've got them for the Southwest Hypnotist Group. So they're all across the country, and it's a great place to have a meetup and hang out with other hypnos, plan stuff. And if you're curious about your specific area, hit me with a message, and I'll share all the links. I don't have them handy right now. In fact, that's how me and Paul became friends. I was going to be in Tucson. I said, Tucson, let's meet up, Paul.
Yeah, just lunch, right? And we sat there that day for like 2 hours having
Yeah,
lunch, and then we've been friends ever since. And I'm so grateful for that. It was really wonderful, really,
me
really
too.
wonderful.
Me too.
Yeah.
And Paul, in addition to all the other stuff that he does, he has some great training opportunities. So I just want to share his website with you all real quick.
Don't worry about that.
No, we want to, but this is just for you. Anybody, if you're out there, you've got a training program or something you'd like to highlight, we are happy to share it here on the show. That's what the show is all about. Grant and I, we don't really buy into the scarcity thinking, so we're happy to share the dream with everybody. For what it's worth, we'll get you a couple of eyeballs anyway on your stuff, everybody. So there it is. And really, he's just, you won't find somebody better. The experience he's got, he actually did a lot of the marketing for the videos for PHS last year, and they were just so helpful and really awesome. So,
dude, do you know what I'm doing right now? I'll tell you, this is so awesome.
yeah,
I have, because I have that side business, right? Where I like to do that content creation. I have a client right now who's a hypnotist, and she's like, hey, I did this 3-hour workshop and I really want to turn it into an online course.
yeah.
He's like, I know normally you just do content for me, but that's just another form of content, right? Could you do that? And I was like, whoa, yeah. Hey, Mark Barris. I was like,
Mark.
yeah, I guess. I was like, it's not, and I, for people who don't know me, I used to be a teacher. So she knew that. And she like, I'm used to building curriculum and stuff. And I was like, I just think it'll probably be cost prohibitive. That's a lot of work, right? She goes, yeah, but that's the thing. It's a lot of work and I don't have the time to do it. And I'm not a former teacher. And I was like, all right, so here's what I did. We've talked about this before, is where you're going to love this. I thought, all right, I'll take what I know as a teacher, but I need to speed it up. So I took her workshop, I dropped it into a transcription software. Then I grabbed sections of the transcript and I dropped it into Chat GPT. And I was like, tell me what the key learning points are from this transcript.
Oh, wow.
And in an hour and 15 minutes this morning, I took her workshop, her 3-hour workshop, and created a 10-page Google document full of learning points in an hour and 15 minutes. Now I can go through with my teacher hat on and I can be like, which ones are important and which ones really aren't. And I can whittle it down. Then I can come back to her and say, what do you think about all these learning points? And she can be like, yeah, that's exactly. Then we can start taking it and say, how do we organize it? Right. And actually build a course out of it. But this age we live in, you know, and you and I have talked about this before. We're like, if you're not using these AI tools, like again, for all of us who are, as far as I know, we're almost always small business owners. You got 10 hats you got to wear all the time. If you're not using AI to help your business be more productive, you're going to really struggle to keep up with the hypnotists who do adopt these tools and technologies, because this is what it means. It means that the ones who couldn't find the time to do online courses, now they can, right? If they
Yeah.
couldn't find the time to overhaul their stage show, now they can. Like, the efficiency factor is just huge. It's massive.
You know, and that reminds me. So I think it was basically the first line of my keynote speech at the Michigan Hypnosis Conference was, um, "You won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by another hypnotist using AI."
There you go.
And that's how I see it. That's
Yeah.
what's going to happen if you don't embrace it. You're going to be left behind, just like people that didn't think they needed a website got left behind, or people that didn't think they needed to, you know, adopt new ways of marketing and all these things. They get left behind. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nothing for people who are hearing this, like, it's nothing to panic about. Like, don't
No.
get panicked and stressed about it, but pay attention to it, right? Because again, another good example, I'm a former English teacher. So if I want to write a blog article for my training site or for my stage hypnotism site, I can write a blog article, 1,000-word blog article, usually in an hour and a half. Now, again, I spent a
Wow.
lot more time writing in college than the average person did. So the average person's probably going to take 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, right? With AI, I can now write 1,000-word blog article in 30 minutes. And again, I have a little bit of an advantage because I can edit more quickly than the average person too, right? I don't just you should never take what the AI gives you and just use it. You should always make sure your voice is in it and then it matches like the way you like to communicate and stuff. But I can do that. I can produce. So I've cut my production time, down to a third of what it used to be, and so the other way of looking at it is so I can produce 3 times as many articles in the same amount of time as I used to. That's a
Right.
big benefit. And so again, if for those of you who have websites and you're looking to increase your SEO value, using these tools can really help you do that. And this comes down again to whether you're trying to get more consulting clients or trying to sell more, you're
Yeah.
trying to get more people to attend your presentation at a conference. Like, no matter what you're doing, there's some way that these tools is going to help you get more
Yeah.
done and get more people to notice what you're doing.
Yeah. You know, I actually helped one of my coaching clients, another hypnotist, write her proposal for a hypnosis conference, speaking proposal.
There you go.
And it was fantastic. We changed a few things, took out the plethora of emojis, because that's a telltale
They
giveaway.
tend to write them
Right?
like their social media posts with
Yeah,
emojis. Yeah.
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 And so, but it's fantastic. Also like course outlines, a book outline. I think it's just great for outlines. I wouldn't
Yep.
want to write a whole book that way, or a whole course, or a talk. But I think just for the outline and maybe some key points, it's phenomenal. Really is.
It's very cool. What
If you
else you got
need,
going on?
let me just do this real quick. So actually, in the mastermind that Grant and I have, which is going to be broadcast to a couple of Facebook groups this week, we're actually talking about AI, and we're having in Scott King. And Scott King has a great Facebook group that you can join, and I'm just going to find that real quick for everybody. Find the link. I didn't know we were going to talk about it today. Sorry, everybody. You can join his group, and also Daryl Wright's going to be in there too. So talking about leveling up with AI, because there's just so much potential, guys. Really, so much potential. We are going to be. I told Paul that we had to quit at 5:30, so that's why he's kind of going. What else you got, Jim? But we're going to run just a few minutes over because we'll just cover a couple of things real quick for conferences. And Paul, in the meantime, be thinking about your pro tip. Think about a pro tip and or funny story. So the Charmed Hypnosis Conference, Grant and I have talked about this before. It's on 11. It's kind of the next one coming up, I think. It's on 1/11/24, so January, and this is the one for the fetish folks. And I think that is the best name for any hypnosis conference. Charmed. I mean, what a great name, right? Charmedhypno.org. So that's the kind of stuff like you might see Kaz. In fact, I think Kaz Riley does go to that one.
I think Kaz does, yeah, or at least she has at some point, because I remember having a conversation with her once where she talked about it.
Yeah. For those of you, if you're in the Performing Hypnosis group, you know that the website's been down. Have not been able to fix it yet. If you want to put in your speaker proposal, there is the Cognito form for that. Just put the link down in there. And that's, of course, coming up the first weekend of February. And this, speaking of awesome conferences, are you friends with Richard Nongard? You've been in the business for a long time.
I don't know Richard real well, but we've hung out a little bit. Yeah, I know Richard.
Great guy. I wouldn't say we're friends. I would consider him a friend. We're not close friends. I really feel like anything he touches just turns to gold. Him and Jason Lynette do the winter conference, Florida in what is it? I forgot the dates. February, March, something like that. Let me look.
February usually. I wish I knew the dates, but I don't.
March 1st. I think it's March 1st through 3rd. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So, I mean, what an opportunity. It looks like they have a lot of fun too. So check that one out. And then, of course, and then before that one, just one more to mention, everybody. The Ellman, the Dave Ellman Hypnosis Institute is having their conference, their 2024 conference in January. Are you speaking at that one, Paul?
I am not. I have not seen Larry and Cheryl in a long time. I actually, I sort of keep up with Larry occasionally on Quora. Do you ever use Quora?
I've played around a little bit, but not really. No.
So, for people who don't know, Quora is a knowledge aggregation site. You can go and ask questions, and people who know the answers will answer your questions. And a few years ago, I was on Quora for like a decade, and I would answer questions about hypnosis. And then they added the feature of doing communities. And so I started the first community for hypnotism on Quora. And Larry would occasionally drop in and leave comments on the stuff that was going on there. And he's just a sweet man. And the last time I saw him was 8 years ago at Hypno Thoughts. I haven't seen them in ages. Yeah, but they're lovely people. Yeah.
I got to tell you, one of my favorite things about going to some of the smaller conferences, like Michigan or Heartland or Pacific Northwest, is you get to actually sit down with some of the people you don't get to sit down with usually, like at a Hypno Thoughts, which love Hypno Thoughts. I got to sit down with Grant and I actually. We sat down with Larry and Cheryl, had dinner with them, and really great people, sweethearts, and have so much knowledge, amazing amount of knowledge. And Larry will tell you stories.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta make sure you got some time, because if you ask Larry a question, you're gonna be there for a while.
Yeah.
But you will get. That's the thing. Like, you will get these great stories though, and how lucky are all of us that we can hang out and hear stories about Dave Ellman from his son. Like, it's amazing. It's so amazing. It's a wonderful thing. And to be able to say, like, I remember that I went up in the vendor area that year. I walked through the vendor area at Hypno Thoughts. Larry and Cheryl had a table. I stopped up and I said, I had met them before at NGH. And so I said, "Hey, Larry, how you been?" And I said, "Hey, I was rereading your dad's book again the other day, and there's just one part." And I said, "Can you just help me clarify?" And he goes, yeah. And he like completely like answered my question and then just kept telling. It was so cool. So cool. Yeah.
Love them. Such great people. Also, if they've officially stopped accepting speaker proposals, but if you message Cheryl, you might still be able to get in. They might have some openings. So if you're out there, you think I'd like to do it, it's online. There are hundreds, at least dozens of fabulous hypnotists going to be there on it. It did seem like there's a lot. I mean, I really is. I think it's just I
They
do
keep
think
it smaller. Yeah.
I think it might be. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot doing it, and a lot of big names out there doing it. So Paul started the biggest hypnosis group on Google. What?
Mark Barris is being kind. That's a nice way of saying that. It was like a big fish, small pond thing. That was in the Google Plus days. Do you remember
Ooh,
Google Plus?
I do.
So same thing. Google Plus got to a point where they unveiled communities, and I jumped on that and I started a community, and it was cool for a while, but then the whole thing went south. Google Plus itself, and didn't
Yeah.
work out. But I made some love. That's how I met Mark. Actually, was
Ah,
at Google Plus, and all these years later, we still say hi every now and then. And so super wonderful. Yeah, sometimes these things, right? You just do something and think it's worth a try, and cool stuff happens.
well, I think that's the key to success. Really, is you keep trying things until something hits. Really. So if you're out there, if things have not gone your way, half dozen, 20 times, 100 times, just keep going. The odds are in your favor. The more you do it, the more your odds are. And speaking of Mark, one of the greatest guys out there. I got to sit down with him
Pretty good human
at
being.
Hypno Thoughts
Yeah.
last year. He really is. And we're on, we chat all the time online and stuff. We got to meet him in person, and he's such a supporter of the hypnosis community. He also helps people with social media. So if you need some help with that, reach out to Mark. Um, I've seen some stuff that he's worked on with some of his clients, and it's really good stuff. So reach out to him. Paul, do you have a pro tip and or funny story? Hi, Mike.
My latest funny story you may have seen. I actually put an Instagram video of it up. Is I've been working on this new thing in my show where I tell my volunteers that we're going to the Renaissance Fair, and we we and I say, when we go to the Renaissance Fair, we go all out. I'm like, so you're wearing all your Renaissance clothes, and you have a Renaissance Fair name, and you have a job when you're at the Renaissance Fair. So you have a Renaissance Fair job. And if you choose to, sometimes it's really fun to even have a Renaissance Fair voice. And you might want to have a Renaissance Fair voice. And then I work the line. And so I say, what's your Renaissance Fair name? What do you do? And if they've got the voice, they just talk in the voice. And it's been really fun, like and so this one night, I say to the young person, it was a college show, I say, what's your name? And Jocelyn. And I say, what do you do at the Renaissance Fair, Jocelyn? I'm a jouster. And I go, you're a jouster. That's exciting. What's your record? And she goes, oh, I'm terrible at it. She goes, when you think, if you would pick something, this is why I love what we do, right?
Yeah.
Because you go, why would you say that you do something? She goes, I've lost every single match. So I work down the line, and I go a couple more down. And I say, what do you do? And the person says, I make swords. And I go, how much is a sword these days? And she goes, $75. I go, oh, that seems reasonable. That's my, and I work down and I work down. I get maybe like 3 or 4 more down. And I go, what's your name? And what do you do? And this person says, I make swords too. I go, you competitor. How much is your sword? And she goes, $15. And I go, well, I got to ask, since the other one's 75, if I buy a sword for $15, is it going to be good? And the person goes, yeah. So then I'm working my way back down the other way, right? And I stop at the jouster, and I say, hey, there's 2 people here that sell swords. Maybe you ought to just get out of jousting and do the hand-to-hand combat contest instead. And without missing a beat, immediately she goes, yeah, I tried that too, and I was terrible at that too. And I go, what? And she goes, well, I bought the $15 sword. I was like, I love this job.
Yeah.
I love this job that
so
these
fun.
people have this creativity,
yeah.
How so fun. Cool.
That's awesome.
My pro tip is what we already did. My pro tip is use AI, people. Use AI. Get
AI.
in, get your language stuff, produce your language, social media, blog articles, web emails, like start using AI for your language generation, and definitely get into, if you want, get into images too. I do almost all of my YouTube thumbnails now. The pictures are generated by Midjourney. If you look at if you go to entertainmenthypnotist.com, the ISHA website, I designed that for the organization. Almost all the pictures on that website are AI. Like 9 out of 10 of them are AI. Like,
Nice.
it's once you start to build that skill set, it's faster to have the AI make the image for you than to go to a royalty free site and search for what you had in mind. If you've got it in mind, just tell it what you want and have it make it for you.
Love that.
Pro tip
and a funny story. Paul, it has been a pleasure as always.
Jim, I always love hanging out with you, buddy. Thank you for having me.
I hope to see you soon in Tucson. Hoping to book some shows down there. Come down and hang out, have some more nachos.
I love nachos.
God, something about tortilla chips, man. You get me around chips and salsa. It's my weakness. I can't stop. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Hypno News Live. We go live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern. And I believe that's
like gang sign, kind of
1 p.m. UK or something. I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, listening, sharing. Appreciate that a lot. Take care. Be well. Be awesome.